We're flying from Pristina to Dubrovnik, Croatia on the Adriatic Sea. It's raining. It looks like our good luck with weather finally caught up with us. We check into the very modern Villa Dubrovnik, where every room has a view of the Adriatic. We're going to brave the weather and do a little exploring in the town. We don't know exactly when Dubrovnik was first settled, but it was part of the Venetian Empire from 1205 to 1358. In 1358, a treaty between Venice and Hungary made Dubrovnik a vassal state of the Kingdom of Hungary, and the Republic of Ragusa, the old name for Dubrovnik, was established. From 1358 to 1808, the city enjoyed self-rule. The key to their freedom was strong fortifications and equally strong diplomacy. We enter through the Pilla Gate, one of only 4 access points. Above the entrance is St. Blaise, the city's patron saint. The main street is filled with tourists, even late in the season and under gray skies. We're finding lots of interesting pictures here. This fountain was part of the city's water supply, circa 1440. This bell tower is on the Franciscan monastery. We'll be back when we have more time. People still live in these 15th century houses. Lusa Square is the center of the town with many of its famous landmarks. The Church of St. Blaise dates to 1715, relatively new, but only because the old church, circa 1368, was damaged in an earthquake in 1667. The original 1444 bell tower was also damaged in the 1667 earthquake. It started leaning. By 1929, it was deemed unsafe and was replaced with new construction based on the old design. Orlando's pillar was a symbol of a city under the protection of the Kingdom of Hungary. This is the appropriately decorated armory entrance to the Sponza Palace. The Sponza Palace also housed the mint, the bank, and the treasury. This fountain supplied the market on Lusa Square. The side streets are narrow with lots of steps. Mike is looking for dinner options for later. And Sherry makes a new friend. We go out through the Revelin Gate. The weather is starting to clear. Hopefully it'll be a nice day tomorrow. We get a nice view of the old harbor. And then it's back to the Villa Dubrovnik, where we enjoy the beautiful scenery. This morning we're at Gruž, the main port of Dubrovnik. We're sailing to Šipan in the Elaphiti Islands on the Tirena. The Tirena is a replica of the galleons that sailed from Dubrovnik in its golden age in the 15th and 16th centuries. Of course, we won't really be sailing. They're just there for decoration. But the captain looks the part. Across from the cruise ship terminal is the fashionable suburb of Elaphiti. There are some pretty impressive waterfront villas. And the Dubrovnik Yacht Club. The Elaphiti Islands are a popular day trip, so we're not alone. Of the dozen or so Elaphiti Islands, only 3 are permanently populated. The name comes from the ancient Greek word for deer. We're approaching our destination, a fishing village of Šuđeraj on Šipan in the largest of the Elaphiti Islands. The captain expertly eases us up to the dock and his crew ties us off. We're off to explore the 2 medieval towers that dominate the town. The towers are part of a 16th century summer mansion. This is the crest of the Stjepovic-Skocibuha, a noble family of seafaring merchant traders, hence the sail and the dolphin. We entered the mansion through a walled courtyard. We're greeted by the current owner and invited to sign a massive guest book. She has set out some homemade aperitif for us, very strong. The house is filled with a collection of household objects going back 500 years, like this low-tech burglar alarm. This is what a 16th century kitchen was like. Upstairs is a good view of the walled courtyard. We wander through the upstairs rooms, including the chapel and the priest's bedroom. We learn that noble families would employ their own priest. Caring for a 16th century building must be one daunting task after another. The restoration is definitely a work in progress, but it is a wonderful building that gives us a glimpse of 16th century life. And then it's back to the harbor and to the Tirena for our trip back to Dubrovnik. From the water, we see how formidable the fortifications must have seemed to attackers. From 1440 to 1804, the Ottomans occupied surrounding land but opted for an annual tribute from Dubrovnik instead of the cost of making an assault on the fortress. But in 1806, the neutral Republic of Ragusa was caught between Napoleon's army, the Montenegrin army, and the Russian fleet. They opted to surrender to the French. On the hill above the city, the French built Imperial Fortress in 1806 and named it in honor of Emperor Napoleon. In 1814, with the defeat of Napoleon, the Habsburg Empire annexed French territories and ruled Dubrovnik until 1918, when it became part of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. We're heading into the old port now. This is what it was like arriving in a galleon in the 16th century. Only this time it's the flag of Croatia and not the Republic of Ragusa that flies over the ramparts. It's a beautiful day and we have time to explore the city. We're starting back at the Franciscan monastery. The monastery opened a pharmacy in 1317 and it's still operating today. There's a very interesting museum, but no photography, so we have to be happy with shots of the cloister. The Church of the Holy Annunciation, a Serbian Orthodox church dating to 1877, was damaged in the 1991 siege of Dubrovnik by the Yugoslav People's Army. That's ironic. Everywhere we've gone, there have been statues of poets, an art underappreciated in the United States. The Rector's Palace was the seat of government for the Republic of Ragusa. We could learn a lot from them. The rector was elected for a 1-month term. This is the sign over the door to the Great Council Hall. It translates as "Forget private affairs, look after public causes." Now the rector's palace is a museum, not only with interesting architecture, but with nice collections of paintings, furniture, icons, and textiles. We get a closer look at the clock tower. These are the Green Men, bronze statues that strike the bell on the hour. The locals named them Maro and Baro. It's time to go. One last look down the main street. We bid goodbye to St. Blaise, standing on the top of the facade of his church. We exit through the Revelin Gate and take another look back at the old harbor. At the Villa Dubrovnik, we enjoy a beautiful sunset over the Adriatic. Now it's time for the gala farewell party at the Revelin Club, a nightclub inside the Revelin Fortress. We take in the cocktails and the sunset's afterglow from the ramparts of the Revelin Fortress. As the afterglow fades, the lights come on in the old walled city. Entertainment tonight is Linđo, a folkloric ensemble. Wow, that was pretty special. But next, the younger set takes to the dance floor to party the night away. Eventually, we call it a night. In the morning, we say goodbye to the resident cat and take a few last shots from the bus as we head to the airport. We're flying back to Stockholm and then going our separate ways. On the airplane, Esther thanks the crew for their outstanding contributions to making this a great trip. And thanks too to Esther, Mari, Jill, Scott, and all the TCS staff and the local guides who made this trip so memorable.